Hi, my name is Tommy Kelly. So guys, welcome back to another video, and I hope this finds you all in great health. Today I'm actually doing the first of my eating disorder podcast series, and this is actually touching upon counting calories in recovery. So like I say, it seems like something that obviously would be counterproductive to suggest, but like I say, counting calories is actually a really important part of recovery, especially during the early stages. Let's say counting calories is very like a large part of your own or child's or parents or partners or whatever's eating disorder. So it can seem like it's obviously madness to say to continue doing this, and I know this only myself. But let's say, hear me out on this. This is where I'm going with this. Let's say, whilst counting calories was obviously a way to restricting things, it obviously now needs to be used as a way for you to heal. So we're obviously running around a negative habit, and using it to make sure that ourselves are recovering. We get enough energy into our body. Let's say getting enough energy is essential for your recovery. It's likely to be something that proves impossible to do unless you're actually someone who is actually counting the calories of a person recovering. So let's say for most people it will be you, the recoverer. Sometimes as well it will be the parents or the partners. Let's say either way, those calories need to be counted, because after an eating disorder people have unreliable hunger cues. So basically your body is starved, and that doesn't send actual signals to your brain to tell you that you actually need food because your stomach is actually shrunk. So let's say the body is gone so long without food that is repressing the signals. So it can take a long time for hunger cues to actually return, and the body to learn to expect food, and gives the signs as to when it needs food. Let's say this can mean that eating can feel like a chore, especially to myself. So that really means that you may need to eat by the clock, which is every 2 to 3 hours, getting in your 3 meals and 3 snacks a day. It could mean that you have no appetite to feel full, but I say it's very important to ensure that you're continuing eating enough adequate regardless of this. As well, it could mean that you feel hungry sometimes, but let's say other times have no appetite. You need to really respond to your hunger or cravings that you have, because this can actually be, you actually get ravishing hunger in recovery. It's basically like you can wake up during the night and you're really hungry. Please listening to your body. That's it telling you that it needs the calories, because you've got a lot of repair to do to your body, your internal organs and things, especially if you've been suffering years and years with a restrictive background. So like I say, responding to your mental hunger is really important. Like I say, mental hunger is just another signal for the brain to tell that you're hungry. Like I say, all signals come from your brain, and it's crucial to listen to that. So if you don't feel this physical signs of hunger, but you're wanting or craving food, then it's necessary to listen to that signal and respond to it. And I mean that always. So as well, how are you going to go about counting calories? Let's say, definitely I would advise staying away from any apps such as MyFitnessPal, as they are very triggering due to the fact that they can try to suggest restrictive amounts to eat. And the app is focused upon weight loss as well. So like I say, the best thing that I actually do is to use notes, a note app to count it up yourself and keep the number and record for the day there. Or you could write down 500 as many times as adds up to the amounts you need to need on a sheet of paper or on a notes app on your phone, and just cross it out every time you reach the 500 calories. Like I say, this can mean that you know that you're getting closer to your goal, but you don't need to count the number if you're not thinking about the number actually helps you. Let's say if your parents or partner or anyone involved in your recovery, they can do this counting for you. That's actually the best way, I would say. And it's possible, and it can be more beneficial for your recovery. Let's say calorie counting, can be very triggering for all of us. But I say the alternative of undereating is much more harmful, and undereating, which many people can do in recovery, will be due to unreliable hunger cues. Let's say if we obviously don't count the calories or have them count it for us, will mean that the body cannot really heal, and that means the actual internal organs and things, because your body knows what's best for you and it's going to do what it needs to do to keep you alive. Let's say mental and physical recovery are interconnected. So if the body is obviously not getting enough energy, this will obviously impact on mental recovery as well. Let's say undereating means that neither mental nor physical recovery will be able to take place. So counting calories until your hunger cue is reliable is a necessity. This is, like I say, one habit that will have to be saved until a bit later to break, like I say, which is okay, because there are many habits and thought processes to manage, check, change and break, and there has to be something that is obviously saved until last or later on, so don't worry about that. So like I say, you've obviously been counting calories for a while and making sure that you obviously get enough energy in your body needs. How do you know when you can stop counting and start going by hunger? Like I say, when you start feeling like your hunger is happening in a reliable way, which is consistent with when you should be eating and how much you should be eating, you can obviously start thinking about testing out the hunger to make sure that it is obviously naturally bringing you the amount you need to obviously get to your goals. Another way of doing it is to write out everything you eat for a week or 2 weeks and then count it up for each day, and then add it up till you get to that amount and divide it by 7 or 14. The average figure should come to around the amount that is suggested as a minimum for you to eat during your recovery. This is obviously around the amount that you should need forever. Let's say if it is 300 to 400 calories below that total, then I would totally suggest that you continue to count in calories, as the hunger signals are very likely to be unreliable. Let's say most of us will naturally and intuitively eat the amount recommended for us or close to it, as this is the amount an energy balanced body needs each and every single day. So like I say, some people do have hunger that is below or above the average. For example, like I say, someone who's expected to eat, say, 3,000 calories for their age, gender and height and activity levels could find that they naturally eat 2,400 or maybe 3,500, and that is absolutely okay. But however, if you're eating more than 300 to 400 less than what is obviously recommended as inadequate, it is more than likely that that is your hunger cues that are unreliable, and you still have a little way to obviously go before you're back to the normal. So if, say, 2,400 calories is your normal hunger, eating 3,000 while longer will not have a negative effect on your recovery process and will not have a negative impact on your weight, your body. Like I say, it'll all adapt to deal with the excess energy by putting it into good use, such as repairing your body, like I say. Or another thing that happens is your metabolism will speed up to burn it off. As a wee side note here, like I say, when you're adding up calories for those test or 7 days, if one day is obviously a really low amount and another higher amount, say for example 1,000 calories one day and 4,500 next, that's obviously a sign of unreliable hunger cues. Even if the average doesn't come to the amount suggested for you. As a second side note, I would say if you're consistently eating well above and beyond the minimum you require for your recovery, the hunger cues are working and you're experiencing extreme hunger or energy needs still, which is totally normal for your recovery. So let's say your hunger cues seem reliable and testing this out, which has shown that they are. Now what do you do? Like I say, you can start trying eating intuitively, but you will need to keep reassuring yourself and reassessing this to make sure that your eating disorder is not sneaking in and obviously manipulating your situation. Like I say, it's really, really important that you eat what you want, when you want, and don't let the anxiety of stopping calorie counting obviously come into other ways, such as restricting certain food types or resisting eating something that you want because you're worried that you're now eating more than obviously you have since you've obviously stopped counting. Like I say, it's going to make you feel more out of control, but it is important to continue onwards and not let any of the behaviours obviously sneak in. But like I say, how do you go about stopping counting calories? Like I say, counting calories is a hard habit to break. It can obviously become so ingrained that it can happen without consciously thinking. Like I say, there will be different ways that will work for different people, but let's say here's a list that I put together, some suggestions about how you can actually stop counting. Number 1 is get yourself and your family to obviously put labels over your calorie amounts on packets and etc. This can obviously deter you from looking and also remind you when out of habit and try and obviously check that your goal is not obviously to look and to count. Number 2 is to get your family to serve you at dinner time, to challenge, like I say, kind of any skewed perceptions of portion sizes, and obviously to learn to relinquish control over amounts, because like I say, you can never really adequately count actual amounts on food. These are only guidelines, especially if you go out to a restaurant and things like that. These are only guidelines, and they can be manipulated by certain amounts of sauce in your servings, or they might add more potato and things. So don't worry about it, go with the flow, learn to love your food. That's what it's all about. That's part of recovery. Number 3 is to stop measuring foods or liquids. That's a certainty. Number 4 is to intuitively eat for 1 day or even more. Maybe even 1 day, 1 meal a week or so. Try doing it for 2 meals or 2 days a week. That way you can work it up until you can ditch the habit altogether. Another one is really important, is obviously visiting cafes, restaurants, cinemas and other places that are uncalorified, to obviously get you to use eating meals where you don't know the calories, to obviously face that anxiety and start overcoming it. Then you can start trying doing this at home and basically challenging yourself more. Number 6, I would say, is to listen to your body and its signals. This is something you should really start doing as soon as you get into recovery, even when you are counting calories. Follow your body and tune into what it is telling you, like I say, rather than be going by the calories you've already eaten today or any calorie rules or you're sticking by and things like that. Start learning to listen to the mental and physical hunger, and also learn that you can also eat what you want, when you want, and as you're hungry and if you fancy it, like I say. Like I say, they're only kind of 6 suggestions, and there will obviously be many more that can help. Like I say, if you have any tips that have helped you or someone you know, please leave them in the comments below so we can basically starting a little community here and helping each other. Like I say, counting calories and not counting calories are both big parts of the recovery process and really relevant at different stages in your recovery journey. But again, like I say, make sure you're not using obviously compensatory behaviours when you're actually trying to eat intuitively and stop counting calories, such as eating smaller portions, cutting out calorie-dense foods, or not drinking liquid calories. Basically out of the anxiety and that little eating disorder voice telling you that it's going to make you fat, because it's lies to you. Like I say, guys, don't listen to it. Learning to eat intuitively without compensating, like I say, due to anxiety is a really big part of recovery. You need to obviously learn, like I say, to eat what you want. So make sure it is not running the show, like I say, or even making compromises with you, because it will try to say to you, oh, if you miss such and such a meal and that you're going to feel better in that. The minute you start restricting any meals or missing any groups, that eating disorder slips in, and you're going to start skipping the next meal and the next meal and the next meal until it's actually get full control of you. Eating disorders are very sly. Like I say, this is your life and yours only. Don't listen to that eating disorder voice. You are not defined by your eating disorder. You're a beautiful person. You're not defined by any number in your scale. You're not defined by anything. That doesn't tell you how beautiful a person you are and the lives you touch every single day. So like I say, guys, comment below. Let me know what you think of this. If you like these podcasts and things, and I'll do more of them and start a wee conversation about things, about how you've kind of experienced things like this, and send you all my love. And remember that little guy at the end of the video says he knows best. Speak to you very soon. Remember, guys, binge on life, purge negativity and starve guilty feelings. Speak to you all soon and love you so much.